So today, guys, I'm just presenting a video to show you how to set up an email marketing campaign. This is how you automate your emails to go out to prospects or leads that you've got from social media or from other means, other events you've been hosting, webinars, that kind of thing. Whatever you've been using to get people to sign up their emails. Once they sign up their emails, they then get sent to an email marketing campaign automation, which sends them a predefined set of emails according to your desires and choices about how frequently you interact with them and what you provide them. So the software I recommend for this is called Active Campaign. You can get the link there underneath the video in the description, or just Google it. I recommend Active Campaign because it's the easiest to use, but it's also very cost effective. I think you can start from €9 a month with access to 500 contacts, so that's quite sufficient for most small businesses. You'll see with Active Campaign it's very easy to go step by step and create a stream of different emails that will be perfect for your target market. There's plenty of different templates that you can use to help bring more design and features into your emails, but oftentimes it's best to keep it simple. It's also a really good reporting system and analytics, telling you how many people have opened your emails and clicks and where they come from, what times and stuff like this. It also presents really well the automation in a flow, so you can see how people are progressing through the email campaign, where they are at the moment, and it makes it very logical. So to get started, you need to get the light campaign, so you can follow the link, which will bring you directly to this page here on the pricing. And the light option there, $9 per month, and you have pretty much everything you need for a small business. You don't really need any of the other features, but for bigger businesses these might be more important. So to get started, we'll just take a quick look in one of these softwares that I use, and we'll go up here to the top tabs here, and the first step is we need to create a list. So we click on lists, and the green button here at the top, we'll click add new list. So we want to give this a name that's instantly recognizable to us, and your subscribers won't see this, but we want it so that we know that's the list we want to choose, and so it's completely separate to any other list you have, and it's easy to recognize and define. So we'll just call this one test. And you want, if you have a website, you need to put in your website address there to tell them what it's associated with and why they are receiving this email. So something simple there, it can be anything really. And then create list. So that list is added, then we then create a form. So on the top here you click the form tab. And although this is the form that's created for this list, you may not direct them to this actual form. You may direct them to a landing page which has a separate form, but you need to have this form set up so that the landing page can email marketing software. So just click new form in the top right hand corner. We'll give the new form a name. And then down here, which is very important, you need to subscribe them to the list. So if you don't see it there, just search, just test lists. There we go. And you also have the option to add other actions. So you could have add a tag, and a tag is how you indicate a certain aspect of that user which is determined by signing up for this. So if you were having a free consultation, if this is what they were signing up to, you might create a tag saying interested in free consultation or something like that, or new lead, something like that. But you can leave that blank generally. Then we click create. So now we come into the form template. So this is what people will see when they go to the form, but if you're using a landing page software, they won't see this. They'll just see the actual landing page, and this will be integrated in the back end. But you still need to make sure you have the right fields here and the right requirements on the fields. So to edit this, you just click the box, the title, so we can go over here then into the right hand panel and we start editing that. So please join, or you might say, okay. And we might add a little message there, and it's important to put it in between the two P's there. You don't want, if you remove them, it won't work well. It's a HTML code, so it needs to be pasted in between those two P's. And again, you can be more elaborate here if you like. You know, add a call to action, add reasons for why they might sign up. You know, it doesn't really matter, but generally I'll use a landing page, so I won't need to go into much detail here. Then full name, so this is our header. We can change that to something different. You can make it more personable. But really, people are fine with just having the name there. And then this gray text here, the default text, we can have something there. And then make sure to click required if you definitely want them to have that. So it's always good to have the name so that you can personalize the emails thereafter. So it's important then to click the required section over here in the right hand tab. And then of course we want their email address. Obviously that's the whole point. So again, you can personalize that if you want, but there's no real need to do that. Pretty much everyone just expects the standard name and email, but if you want to stand out from the crowd, it's definitely a good way of going about it. And then we just click on the box here and we can then edit the style and the format. So up here in the top right hand corner, the fields and style, we can change the color, so the font color, change to red, maybe or blue. The background then you can change as well. And there's lots of things you can do here. The button, you know, you can stand out as red. And we can even create a border to really highlight it. And then if you need new fields, you can also do that. So you might want their company name, you might want their location, and you can even create these. So down here in the bottom corner, you can add a custom field. So you might say you might want different things, so you can have checkboxes or a drop down menu, but a text input is pretty much the easiest thing to do. So to name your field then, so we might say something like phone number. Okay, so we just grab it then and enter it there. And we can add in some default text if we want, and we can make it a requirement if we want. Then you just click back out whenever you want to get out of that and work on the form in general. So we go back to style. And of course now it's slowing down. Just refresh that. So you can see how very quickly you can build a form quite easily using this active campaign, and there's lots of options, but just remember that if you make it an overly complex form to create with too many fields, too many requirements, information that people don't want to be giving you, that they're less likely to sign up. So it is a good idea just to have name and email, so you can delete these as you go along. And then in the style section, you can change the different features there. You might want to make it a different shape or that. The options then is very important. So when they submit, it can show a thank you message, or we can redirect them to a particular website address. So this is very effective for if you want to use retargeting. So you send them to the page and then use that page on your website retargeting ads. So that URL will be then your URL you'll be using in your Facebook ads or your Google ads. The people who have landed on that, that should be a specific URL that no one else should get. So then you can effectively retarget anybody who has signed up to this list that you have. But again, if you're using landing pages, this will be done through the landing page and built out in the back end. So they'll receive the page on your landing page software. So then as well, just to note there in the fields that there are some standard templates built out for some different things. So like you can add a CAPTCHA to make sure there's no spam. And you can also remove the active campaign brand, and it's kind of hidden there, so you have to zoom out, and then at the very bottom here you can see the active campaign brand, and you can remove that. You don't want that coming up because you don't want people to think that they're going to be in a long series of emails. And then once you're finished, you need to click integrate here in the top right hand corner. So now you have an embed code that you can put on your website. You can click the link here, and that will just be an easy URL that you can form pop up once you go to that. Again, so your form just pops up once you copy and paste that URL. You could use that on your Facebook ads or on your website as a link to pop up, but because your domain here on the Light campaign is not unique, I would be hiding that active hosted using Bitly or Google URL shortener, because that way people won't realize that they're going into a marketing campaign as such. They'll think they're just signing up for something. So that's that part of it done. You have your form. You can integrate it with WordPress or Facebook. So that'll appear as a Facebook tab on your Facebook page. And once you have that done, just click save and exit. So now you have your list created, your form created. You will hope that people sign up to your form, and then they will be added to your list. The next thing then you do is to create your automation. So we just click create new automation in the top right hand corner. And again, there's loads of features here that might be relevant. So they have pre-formed templates for different kind of features and tags, but at the start it's probably best to start from scratch until you get an understanding of how this works and operates and get to feel out what your audience responds to. So we'll just click start from scratch, it's blank canvas, and we'll click create. So now the first thing you need to do is select how will your contact enter your automation. Well, we've created the form and the list, so they will add their details to the form, which will automatically subscribe them to the list. And when they subscribe to this list, we choose they will enter the automation. So we choose the test list. Choose that it runs once. You could have this multiple times, and you can also segment people based on their answers or their characteristics or different conditions where they enter from. So based on location or times, whatever it may be. But for now, we'll just keep it simple. So we start. So you'll see here now your automation will develop here. This will be the sequence that your subscribers go on. So you can see at the start, once they subscribe to the test list, then the next thing to do is go to this point. So you can add multiple start points if you are using other automations. You could have someone who clicks a link in a certain email, then gets added to this automation, or who shares an email gets added to another automation. And you can get very complex. It can be based on dates, it can be based on achieving goals or different tags being added. So the next thing to do is to click that plus button, just bring you to some options, and we want to send that person their email to welcome them. So we'll click send email and we'll create a new email. So the person here can't see this email. It's just for you to know what has been done there and what is the purpose of that email and why you're sending it to them. So when you're examining your automation and where different people are in the email, you'll be able to tell by the names on the emails what's the purpose and what stage they're at. So we might call the first one welcome email, and it really depends on your lead magnet here. What are you trying to attract them with? Are you offering a free webinar, a free consultation, a free guide, access to a group, or are you including them in a program or something like that? So it depends what it is. So we might say welcome email, link to free group. So that will redirect us then to choose a template for different emails, and you see there's lots of different options here based on what you might need in your email, and there's really cool designs and really cool graphics that really make your email stand out. So it's up to yourself what you choose, but initially remember that these might appear, the more of these kind of graphics you use, the more difficult it is to get it to be responsive on all different devices. And also people might have images blocked on their email settings, so they won't originally see these appear on the email. So sometimes it's easy just to start with the personal email option here, and also it makes it much more real and much more of a connection with the person. It seems like a personal email and it doesn't seem automated. It doesn't seem like you're sending this out to loads of people. So the next step is this will be the name that appears on the email, who they're getting it from. So you might choose to put your own name there or your company's name there, and then that will be the email address that they reply to. And then your email subject. Your email subject is so important. Email open rates are only about 10 or 12% of all emails, so only 10 to 12% of all emails are opened. So what is the predetermining factors that influence someone's decision to open the email? Obviously, it's from is one, so they'll see your address coming up, but the email subject is the only other thing they have to decide whether or not they're going to open this email. So it needs to be compelling, it needs to be interesting, and it needs to be relevant to them. And you should definitely try a lot of thought into this email subject and try different ones so you can test it. Different people, send out different campaigns to your different customers and see which ones works, or maybe use it as a tweet and see which one gets the most engagement. So we might have for this one, welcome to the group. But we want them to open, so we're telling them something's inside that they need information on. So when you arrive here, you'll see this template here, and it's just giving you a good idea of what you need to include and the steps to take to form a good email. So typically these won't be too long, be quite short, and you should have them spaced out. You don't want long paragraphs there because nobody's going to bother reading them really. So initially, maybe what's best to do. So just summarize what you're going to write. So sometimes if you just dive in and start writing, you'll get caught up in that and really you'll leave out an important part. So I think it's best just first to summarize your email in the key areas you want to address, and that way then you can just tick them off one by one. When they're done, you won't leave anything out, and you can just have a quick read over them, see does the actual conversation make sense and is it progressing the way you want it. So you can just fill them in then whatever way it wants. So you might then just provide the link, and to do this, it's just this little button here. You click that, and then add your link there. So ours for this one is and link text is already there. Here's the link, and you can add an action here. So you could add a tag. So that person then, once they join my group, I could create a tag called group member. I could subscribe them to a different list for just group members. And then that could trigger a series of other events, which sends them through a different automation based on them joining the group. So not everyone who initially gets your first email will sign up to your group or your PDF or will want any more contact with you, but some people will. So then it's good to take them on the next step by adding this second action, but it's not obligatory. So we just X out of that, and you'll see then that the link is highlighted there. Sorry, that link should have came under the text. So we'll just cut it out again. Highlight the text and add the link. So there you see the link is up and running, thank God. And so you might then just introduce the free group or whatever it is you're doing. You might give them more information, why they need to join, provide the link again, and then say thanks. And then down here you can add a little picture. You can add your company name, your name, the company name, your email name. So sign off, look real professional. So we'll just add a little image there. So I have ones preloaded here and saved onto this database, so you can just upload them as you go. You edit this section here, your signature, make sure to edit it or it will appear like that. Add your social links here. So when you go in here first, there's Twitter and LinkedIn. It's not appearing there at the moment, but that's what it is. So over on the right hand tab, you can add in your Twitter, a link to your Twitter profile. And your LinkedIn. And you can change them, you can make them different sizes, you can add more stuff in here, you can add more text, you can add an image in here if you wanted to, you could add a video. So you just drag these over. So we might add a video. And you can even add an action there for once someone opens this video, what they do. So the video will appear there in your email. It's all very easy. And then the social links, again, you just click and drag, hold it down, bring them over. You can add in more social links there. So anything you want, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, YouTube, Instagram, and Tumblr. Just come down and add in your URL, your website address for Facebook, your specific one. Or you could have it as shared to the network. So that just means to share the email to the social network. So obviously you want to be careful you don't have that if it's confidential email. And you might add some space there so that it's not all cramped, and you can change the sizes of all these fields just by clicking on options. Sorry. So if we click the social shares and on options, you can change the size here. Make them much bigger, space them out. change the color, whatever needs to be done can all be done from the right hand tab. It's just important to zoom out because sometimes active campaign leave extra information down here on the bottom that you won't be able to see, and so you can scroll down. Then as well, you have all your other features here for the email as a whole. So the alignment you can change, you can write in bold, in italics, underline, anything like that. You can add personalization. So you can add the first name that they signed up with to make it more personal. You can add their full name, their email, whatever they signed up with in the form. That's what you can add. You can add Facebook like buttons, anything like this, shares, stuff like that to get people to follow you on Facebook or whatever. And you can have different apps as well to take surveys, that kind of thing. So there's lots of options there really to get really complicated on. For now, look, when you're just starting out, just do the basics. Be able to create your email, add the link, add some colors and images and that kind of thing, and make it as personal as you can. Try to sound real, like you're talking to one person rather than talking to many. And again, you can change the color of the links here. You can change the background of the email if for some reason you wanted it to be a different color. Whatever needs to be. So then once you have that done, you click on next, or you can save it and come back to it. And that will save that as a step then in your automation. This is a summary, so you see the message name, that's what's going to appear in your automation for you to read. We'll show you that in a minute. The subject line is what they will see, and it's important to have the open read tracking and the link tracking on, so that'll tell you in the reports how many people have opened the email and how many people have tracked it. You can send a test to your own email address or a different email address. You can have a preview, and they'll also tell you some issues with spam. So your message either contains little text or contains more images than text. Yeah, so that's clear enough from my messing around. But you'd hope to have that at 0. You don't want any spam checks. And then you click finish. And there's the first step on your email. So you now see that the name of the email is there. So you can just, you know what that's about, and you see where they're at. And then you can click reports, or you can click that again and go in and edit the email again. So then the next step, what do we want them to do then? So to get this email, we probably want to wait a while before contacting them again. We don't want to send them multiple emails straight away. Conditions and workflow. We can click a wait. There's loads of options here. We can click wait for a certain period of time or until a certain action or condition is met. So they don't receive any other emails from you, or they don't get anything else done onto their contact until this action or time frames completed. Or we can send them on different directions, or end the automation there. So in this case, you're best to click wait. And so you can have this for a specified period of time. So after you get the first email, to wait for 1 day, week, months, hours, or you can change that. There's no problem. Or wait until. So there's two options there. So to do it by time-based or action-based, time is most regular, so I'll just show you how to do that. Date and time. This is a pretty laborious job here, but you click current year, 2016, add another condition, current month, and of course you want it in whichever time zone is your own, or their time zone. It depends. Just make sure you have it set in whatever you want. Current day, and you can see I don't know why they do this step by step. It's very frustrating. It takes up a lot of time if you're doing a long sequence. So we can even get down to the time of day we want them to see the email. Just need to zoom out again. Too far. We can pick a specific time there that we want the email to land in their inbox, and we save that. So you can see there that takes a bit of time if you are doing a time based, but that'll then appear here in your email campaign there. So we just exit out of that. That was selected by accident. So we just have the one set of conditions there. So it will tell us then, we can see then from our workflow exactly what's happening. So first to get the welcome email, and then to wait until the year is 2016, August 23rd at 3 a.m. and then the next thing happens. So if you're doing a time-based campaign, that's very useful and very helpful. But if this is a long evergreen campaign that's lasting for a couple of months, you don't want to have those time-based restrictions, because if anyone enters your funnel then if anyone signs up or subscribes to your list after this time, it's going to mess up your whole funnel and you won't get the sequence happening correctly. So in that case, if it's an evergreen one, just wait until 1 day or wait until 2 days or 3 days or whatever. So you can do it either way. You can be very specific or you can be just general. And unless you're doing a time-based campaign, it's a good idea to be quite general. It makes less work. So then again, you can send another email. Same process again. The next step, whatever you want to tell them next after they've joined the group or downloaded the PDF or whatever, you could send them an SMS, or you could leave a notification here to send you an email that they've reached this stage, or to send a team member an email or something like that. You could also have the next step determined under previous actions, or you could send them to another action. When we build it out a bit more, you can see that. Or then if they reach this stage, we might want to update the contact information. So we want them to subscribe to another list because they've now read that email. We subscribe them to another list, or we might add a tag, something that adds more information to their contact. But again, you might just want to keep it simple at the start. So we might just want to send an email, but maybe we'll see if they click the link. So if we go in here, we're going to split this automation now into two sets of people. One, the people who have clicked the link. So we go actions, has clicked on a link in the welcome email campaign. And we don't want any link, because that could be the video or our Twitter handle or LinkedIn page. We want that link to the group. That's the one we're interested in. So based on that condition, they can then go separate ways. So it'll tell you here, because you put that in, does the contact match the following conditions? Has clicked the link specified below. So based on that, if they have clicked that link, obviously then they're going to your group. You might want to send one set of emails to them, and if they haven't, you might want to send another set of emails to them to try and get them back into the group. So that way you can have a much more personalized and a much more segmented approach to your campaign. But of course, the more steps you put in, the more time and the more complicated it gets. And also, you don't know initially how many people you're going to have. So is it worth putting this time in to do that? So sometimes at the start, it's best to just stick to a simple, straight funnel and then over time optimize it. If you find that people are not clicking on this link, then you can add in a step that says no, which tries to encourage them again, sending them another email. But initially you might just keep them on the one stream, and then if they do click on this link, you could have on that link again, you could have it as subscribe them to a different list, which sends a different automation. So that's another way to have it, so that this one automation looks quite simple and quite easy to use. So you could always have that there, and you could just create another email. So sending options, send email, and create new email. So you might just ask them, thank you for joining the group. Please introduce. So that's the purpose of this email. And again, you'd select the whichever template you're interested in. Just for speed, I'll just select this one, but you can select whatever. You put in your email subject as discussed. Then you'll optimize your email. You'll customize that and personalize that whichever way you want to. And you'll see then that now your automation is looking much bigger. So you have this first email, to wait until this time occurs, and then based on the actions, if we want to see what they have done. So once that time is reached, the software program will then check what they have done with this link. If they have clicked it, they'll get this email. If not, we can send them down this path, and we can send up another specific email there to encourage them once again to join the group. So that's the way you build out the email marketing campaign. And I'll just show you a completed one to show you what it looks like. So kind of here's one we done earlier kind of thing. And it's also important, guys, just to name your automation so you know what that is when you're looking through your process. So we'll just have a look at one of the other automations that so this is a very complicated one, I think, or no, it's a new one. It's simplified actually. So you can just see then that once the contact subscribes to this list, to get an email, wait for 2 days, another email, wait for another 2 days, ask to join the group, wait for another 2 days, another offer, an email about networking and Facebook groups, another offer, and then they end this automation. So that's what happens in that case. And originally I had that quite complicated, but until you get the traffic, it's good to have it nice and easy, and that way then you can, based on what's going wrong, then you can create different things and different pathways based on what's going wrong. And so it's also important here, like on our test, to note that you need that red button to go green. So in the top right hand corner there, you click on active when you're ready and when you have that built out. So that means whoever subscribes to the list goes through this automation. If that's inactive when you're done and you're promoting your list, no one will go into this. So it's very important to change that to active when you have it complete. So we just have another one. Very simple one again. You can see here there's multiple sign up reasons or lead ins, and then you can see there's some different options here. So we do it on the action base. So to get the link and the special offer, And if they click on the link, they have two options. So if they've clicked on the links, we add a tag. So that's to categorize them and add them to a different format. We send them an email, which is just some information and value for them, to wait a week to get more value emails, to get another value email. And you can see here there's one person in the queue there, so they're going to get that in the next few days. So you can click on that and it'll tell you all their information and what they've clicked on before and what they've done with previous emails. And you can see then that they get a strategy and an offer, and then the automation ends. However, there's a different path for people who don't click on that link. So we send them an email, 3 mistakes they're making online, and the 4th mistake being they haven't joined the group yet. So we get them to, we provide the link again. So we wait for 3 days after sending that email, and we see have they clicked on it yet? That link, have they now, after that email, clicked on it? So they either go yes, and then we have chosen the go-to option in the workflow section. So conditions and workflow over here on the right, you can add them in from here either. So then that go-to action, you can see the lines then. Once they choose yes, they come in here and take the same path as the person who originally chose yes in the first email. So it saves time. The go-to is very good, very useful. It saves time. You don't have to go creating this campaign all over again when they join the group a few days later because of the other email. You just redirect them up to the original part of the campaign. And then you'll see again, we do this again. We sent that other email. We see that it's signed up or what's going on there. You'll see there's one person waiting. And go to another action. We send them back up again if they do click the link. And here in this case, we click no. And even though they haven't signed up, we don't want to keep hassling them. So we won't send anyone our emails. But in some cases, you might enter them into a different automation. So you might enter a no sales survey, you might enter an after sales process, or you might enter just a value stream, something like that. So you could, here, once you have this built and you notice something's going wrong, you could also add something there. You could add like a wait condition, or you could add an if or else, or you can add a go to or a goal. So we might have here, if this person hasn't signed up by this time, we can click start an automation. So we might put them into a different automation. We might put in a go-to section. So I won't do that for now, don't want to mess this up, but you can see how it's easy to just drag over any of these options there. Click the contacts, you could add a tag to someone. So you might add a tag there saying this person is a cold lead who isn't really converting. And you could have a notification then to give them a call, see why they're not converting or whatever maybe. This one's a little bit more complicated. You can see the different steps, and you have to be aware that if you are doing something complicated like this, you should first of all test it with something simple. There's no point setting all this up because you might never get any traffic. So have a simple campaign, test it out, and see what works and what isn't working, and then based on what's not working, you might create these other options and add in different emails and try and get people to take the desired action that you want. Okay, so then that's your automation done, and you can go into your reports section to view the different things about how many people have clicked, how many people haven't clicked, who's opening, who's reading. You can see here, so different clicks. So 57.89% of this webinar email that I sent out opened, and 10% of the people clicked on it. So you can see the different things that are happening there. And if you click in, you'll get more emails or more information about the emails, when people clicked in, what the message was, different opens and reads, who opened what, who done what were the percentages, and lots of good information there. So guys, I hope that explains it. I know with this kind of practical video, it's very it's very touch and go. You have to wait for stuff to load up, but I hope that you got some value out of it and it shows you how to start anyways. So the main steps were create your list, then create your form, then create your automation. You need to do it in that pattern to ensure that you have all the required stages completed before you move on to the next one. So to say that again, it's list, form, automation. And then remember to keep the automation as simple as possible for the first few times so you get some data, see what's working, what's not working, what are people clicking on, what are they not clicking on, and then you can change it based on their actions. So guys, that's it. Active campaign. That's just a quick insight into how to get started, how to build out your first campaign. Keep it simple, not too many steps, not too much time frame, and not too much specificity or personalization. Just keep it simple, get it done, and then improve it as you go on. If you want to get the active campaign, the link is under the video description. Just click on that, it'll bring you to the right stage. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Definitely, you could spend hours on this stuff, reading it and viewing it, but the quickest way you're going to learn, guys, is to get in there and start creating different things, start messing around with it and getting used to the setup and the different features and the different tools. Okay, so if you want to comment, leave a comment under the video or hit me up on Twitter at Whabang Tweets or the Facebook page Whabang Social Media, or visit the website www.whabang.ie. Cheers guys, thanks very much.